Hey beautiful people, welcome back to a new video on our channel Read Travel Become. Thriller books are one of the best ways to develop a reading habit. Why? Because once you are invested in a plot, once you are looking for those twists and turns, you don't even realize that you have finished multiple books. I myself developed a reading habit by initially reading a lot of thriller books and reading thriller books which were not very long, which were short, because once I have finished the book, once I have completed the book, I felt a confidence, I felt an innate confidence that I too can finish books. In this video, I'm going to suggest 5 thriller books which are very easy to read. They're very ideal for beginners. So if you're someone who wants to develop a reading habit, and if you're someone who loves plot twists and thriller mystery kind of things, then this video is for you. Make sure you watch the video till the end. You may never know which thought or fact may resonate with you and change the course of your life. So let's get started. Okay, so the first book on this list is from the same writer who wrote The Silent Patient, and I personally believe that The Silent Patient has one of the greatest plot twists which I have ever read. There might be other books, but which I have ever read. The book which I'm talking about right now is Maidens, which is written by the same author. I am not talking about Silent Patient because I've already recommended The Silent Patient a lot of times. So Maidens is another book which is written by the same author, and although I would say it is not as great as the first book, but Maidens has its own merits. I feel it has got its own style of writing, which I absolutely liked. It was a refreshing read, definitely, and it was definitely a page turner. The book is about a central character. She has lost her husband and she finds out about one particular murder, and everybody feels that this murder is committed by a professor who teaches Greek tragedies in Cambridge University, and this professor also has a secret society of women called the Maidens. This is the plot, and it's a classic whodunit mystery, like who committed the murder, but it's written in a very stylish way. There are a lot of references of Greek tragedies, of Greek mythology, a lot of undertones for that, a lot of metaphors for that. So the plot keeps getting interesting and you learn a lot of things about Greek tragedies also. The plot twist which comes at the end wasn't as great as, the first book, The Silent Patient, but nonetheless, I absolutely had a good time. So if you are a beginner, you can definitely pick up Maidens and read it. Very easy language, and it's written in a very tight way. It won't be very difficult for you guys to finish the book. Next on the list is a Dan Brown novel. So I'm talking about this particular novel because all the other novels in the Robert Langdon series I have already talked about on this channel. I am a huge fan of Dan Brown books. I believe he's one of the best pop culture writers out there. So the book which I'm going to talk about is Deception Point, which is a little different from all of his other books. All of his other books are about race against time to find out about a murder, and during this find there's a lot of historical significance and a lot of historical pop culture related to that murder. But this book is about NASA. So if you're someone who likes political thrillers, then this book is definitely for you. It's about this story that a group of intelligent analysts find out that there has been a meteorite found somewhere, and this meteorite might have an extraterrestrial life. And now how do you tell this to the entire world, and how politics gets involved, how the US president, the president of the United States gets involved, and what happens next forms the rest of the story. So very interesting premise. Again, Dan Brown is a rock star writer when it comes to writing thriller books. So if you're a beginner, you want to know, you want to get a taste of how thriller novels are written, this is a classic thriller novel, textbook example of how thriller novels are written. Very pacey, good interesting characters, no bullshit, and just very good pace. So you would definitely like this book. Check out all of the books by Dan Brown. They are amazing. You learn a lot of things. I learned a lot about the golden ratio from one of Dan Brown's books, which I recently shared in my newsletter. You can also check out my newsletter where I share some of the learnings from the books I've been reading about. Next on the list is a thriller book called The Last Thing He Told Me. I read this book because it was the top choice on Goodreads in the thriller section category for last year, and that's why I picked up this book, and I was not disappointed. I wouldn't say it is one of the best thriller novels written or it's got depth or anything. It's just a very catchy book. It's a very good thriller book, and you would have a great time reading this book. I wouldn't say it's like very significant or I would remember it for a long time, but if you're a beginner, this is a great book to start. Great book to feel a taste of how thriller books are. It's about a lady whose husband has been lost, and she just gets one letter from that husband, and she has to find out about her husband through this letter. What happens next forms the rest of the book. She's basically navigating around where he might have been, who might have he contacted, and she finds out some dark truths about her husband. So again, I would say good read, light read if you're a beginner. Do check it out and let me know in the comment section how did you like it. I wouldn't say I love it, but it's a good book for beginners. Next on the list is one of the most horrifying books I've ever read. If you like horror movies, if you are into the horror genre, then definitely check out Stephen King's Misery. I recently read this book and for a night I had nightmares. And it's not about a ghost, it's not about any supernatural activity, it's just psychological thriller. It's just the horrors of human psychology. It's about a writer who's caught in an accident and he's been rescued by a lady, and he's living with this lady. His legs have been totally butchered and his body has been tortured, his skull fractured and stuff like that. He's in a very bad state and this lady is taking care of him. But the twist here is that this lady is a fan of the books that the writer has written, and she does not like one particular book that he has written, and now she wants him to write a new book, write a new story for her so that she can have the satisfying ending. She's basically that crazy fan of the writer. Now this writer has to write for his life because she's torturing him all the time. I won't give away more than this, but the premise is very, very haunting. It's very scary at times. If you are into these kind of things, definitely check out Stephen King's books. He's written a lot of books like these where people have had nightmares because of his writing. But again, what a writer, what a rock star writer. Keeps you hooked till the end, from his first page to his last page. And the way he ended this book, Misery, was just too good. So it's a long book. I wouldn't recommend it for absolute beginners. It's a little long book, but if you are into this kind of a genre, if you are a sucker for horror genre, then definitely pick this book. No thriller list is complete without the mention of Agatha Christie. She is like the best thriller writer out there. Like the number of novels she has written, the number of benchmarks that she has set in the whole genre of thriller, all the movies you see are somewhere related to some of the trope that Agatha Christie had written in one of her novels. So the book I'm going to recommend is not And Then There Were None or The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which are these popular novels. The book which I'm going to recommend is The Mysterious Affair at Styles, which was Agatha Christie's first novel. Now when I read about the background of this book, the book was written during World War and the setting is like somewhat like that, and it's also the introduction of one of her most famous characters, Hercule Poirot, who is a detective, and it's her first novel. I wouldn't say that it's her best novel because somewhere you can feel that she is still figuring out her own voice, but it's refreshing to read where it all started from. So if you're a beginner, you can definitely try this book as a writer also, as a reader also. It's a good way to grow into this genre by starting how the writer started. So definitely check out The Mysterious Affair at Styles. The plot twist is great too. So you can definitely check out this book. That's all for this list of thriller books recommendations for beginners. If you have any recommendation, do let me know in the comment section. I hope you like this video. Do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more fresh content related to books, travel and productivity. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.